Why do I only play competitive games? Because I'm built different. Some people play games to relax, some people to immerse themselves in a deep story, some want to challenge themselves, but not me though. I play them to reinforce that I'm better than other people.
I'm better.
On the podium that is games that I enjoy playing, this is the rankings. Third place would be any game where I can play with my friends, because anything can be fun with your homies, like Minecraft, Helldivers 2, COD, etc. Second place would be roguelikes, Balatro, Risk of Rain 2, Slay the Spire, that kind of thing. And number one is competitive games, online multiplayer PvP competitive games. And for the past few years, this is probably what I've enjoyed most in gaming. Let me give you my history with gaming so you can get an insight into why I am what I am and why I like competitive games so much. Games have always been a part of my life. Growing up, all I wanted to do was play games. The issue was that I could never sit and play something by myself because I'd get really bored. When I was a little kid, I had an N64, a hand-me-down from my cousin who'd moved on to getting a GameCube and Xbox. On that N64, I had all the classics, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Pokemon Stadium, Kirby, Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros. And I played all of them, but the only games I ever really liked playing were Mario Kart and Smash Bros, especially when I got to play against my friends or family members. Subsequently, in elementary school, when I got the Wii, the only games I ever wanted to play were Brawl and Mario Kart, occasionally Mario Party 8. When I'd go visit family members, I'd just be playing Melee with my older cousin for hours, or I'd just sit there spectating him play StarCraft or Halo 3 online. I never owned a PS3 or Xbox 360, but I really wanted one, just so I could play Modern Warfare 2 and Halo Reach online with my buddies from school, because when I was in 5th grade, everyone had either a 360 or a PlayStation 3. I was that one kid who had neither. I'd have to go to one of my friends' houses to play 4-player split-screen Modern Warfare 2 or Halo. In middle school, my Singaporean friend introduced me to League of Legends. Luckily, I had a family computer I could play it on, and hopping on Skype and eventually Discord to play games after school, it was so fun. And this is also the first time I played a game that had a ranking system where when I played by myself grinding solo queue, I didn't get bored. Ranking up, gaining elo, the dopamine hit was like injecting Afghan black tar heroin into my veins. It hit different. I had a toaster for a computer at the time, so I could never play any of the big games either. And so I was either playing a bunch of these smaller esports games or watching esports like CSGO or like the LCS, LCK, anything in the FGC. In high school, I continued playing League. Overwatch came out, so I'd play that a ton with my friends. I even grinded out Clash Royale for a while to whatever this rank was back in the day. I joined my school fighting game club where we'd mostly play Melee and Street Fighter during lunch. And the closest I ever got to being good at a game was Hearthstone. I was one win away from the Legend rank, but never really got there. And the reason I got into Hearthstone was because the first time I ever played was against one of my friends. He'd been playing for a while and I was using one of the starter pre-made decks, 0 meta cards, and it was really bad. Unsurprisingly, I didn't win a single match against him, and from then on I was like, I can't lose like that, not to him. So I grinded it out. I never paid money for packs, and I just played a lot. I watched YouTube videos, I played meta decks, and I kept up with esports, and I never lost to him again. I got good out of spite. For my second half of high school, for my junior and senior year, I moved to a new school, and none of my friends there did any PC gaming. So I bought myself an Xbox One just so I could play Fortnite and Rainbow Six Siege with them. When I wasn't doing that, I was grinding out solo queue and some of the other esports games I talked about. In college, I played a ton of Smash Ultimate and Melee. Me and my friends would play against other students in League and Overwatch matches. It was a good time. And if you see a trend with all the games I've mentioned, they're all multiplayer PvP games. Even the games with campaigns and single player stories could be played with 2 people, like Brawl Subspace Emissary or Halo Reach's campaign. I like a challenge, but not in the speedrunning or Souls-like way or whatever this is. There are 3 main things about competitive multiplayer games that make me really enjoy them compared to other games. And so the first one is strategic decision making. Second is having a somewhat fast-paced gameplay. Third is live competition, and honorable mention is team multiplayer. I see video games as a place to test my skills and thinking abilities against other humans. I like how every game starts fresh. There's no real carryover between matches. It's a standalone game against new people. I've played a lot of the popular single player games, Elden Ring, Doom, Persona, Final Fantasy, Skyrim, Expedition 33, etc. All of which are objectively good games, by all metrics. But to me, there was just something missing. Lack of ranked queue, not enough toxicity, I don't know. Long-running stories and character progression aren't really that interesting to me. I just like competition. It's where I tend to have the most fun. I prefer the personal skill progression that comes with learning the game, whether it be mechanics, game knowledge, or game strategy. A place where I can test that against other players. A place where the knowledge and skills I have, I'm able to outplay my opponent. My ability to know more and think better than the opponent gives me a competitive advantage in the marketplace of ideas. the ability to improve on my micro and macro level play. And if you haven't heard these terms before, macro is generally just the big picture, how you want to implement the overall strategy to win. Micro is the mechanics, or how good you are at moving, your ability to land combos, your aiming ability. That's all micro. And if we look at the extremes of either of these games, chess is just straight macro, nothing but strategy, zero mechanics. Everyone moves the same, you're not going to win because you know how to pick up the pieces faster. OG Fortnite is probably the best example of a micro-focused game. It's nothing but how good you are at gunfighting and building. Like, you can have worse guns than your opponent, but if you have better aim and you can crank 90s better than them to get the high ground, you'll pretty much win 99% of the time. It's all mechanical skill. And all of this, it's even more fun when you can apply this to a team-based setting or working together with other people to beat another team. That's cool. Or you could just have fun messing around to the point where you're too focused on bantering with your friends than to be paying attention to the game. And you don't care if you lose because you're busting down in a full stack. I think Rainbow Six Siege is a good example of a good balance between strategic and mechanical play. It's a team-based strategic FPS game. One team defends, one team attacks. Every match starts with the defending team setting up their defenses like shields, cameras, taking time to set up walls and barriers to doorways, while the attacking team uses drones to scout out the map and the enemy setup. It gets more complicated when you take in operators, and where each operator has different guns and different attachments and different gadgets to use. And on top of that, the maps are fairly destructible, so you can shoot through and blow up many of the walls and floors, giving you tons of options on how you want to attack or defend a site. It's a good balance of mechanics where you'll need to have good aim and movement to win gunfights, and it's a one-shot headshot system, and implementation of strategy where stuff like knowing how to set up a defense and how to position yourself when you attack, how you use certain gadgets can give you an upper hand even if your mechanics and aim aren't as good. And I think this is a little bit more involved in the strategic than something like CS. Another more or less popular game that scratches this competitive itch for me is League of Legends. It's a multiplayer online battle arena, or MOBA for short. You have two teams where your goal is to destroy the enemy nexus or the enemy base. Pretty simple. It gets complicated when you take into account things like obtaining resources, lane states, wave manipulation, jungle timers, neutral objectives, vision control, and more. On top of that, as of recording, there are 171 champions/characters to choose from, each with their own mechanics and movesets and combos, and on top of that, there are hundreds of items to choose from on how you want to build and play your champion, strategizing what champion to play, how to build them, and how they fit into the draft, how you'll play them against the enemy draft. There's a lot to think about, and I think it's super fun. And if I want to play something a bit less cerebral, I'll play a fighting game. FGC games like Melee, Tekken, Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom. These are all micro-heavy for sure, but there is still a knowledge check in there as well, like knowing frame data and how to play certain matchups and knowing all the different character movesets and interactions. These are probably the most challenging games to me, and I'm easily the worst at fighting games, but despite this, I have a lot of fun playing them. And if I want to play something more chill, I'll play Marvel Rivals or something. It's competitive and mechanics focused, but I don't know, it just feels super chill to me. I just like competitive games. I enjoy them more than anything else I've ever played. It's just fun to, low diff people. Call me narcissistic if you want. I make videos for the internet and think people will watch them. I just like the competition. It's where I tend to have the most fun. Winning feels good, ranking up feels good, defeating my opponent in a battle of skill and wits feels good, low diffing someone hits different. And you must be thinking, wow, you must be a super sweaty tryhard. Unfortunately not. If I was, I'd be way better at every game I played, but I just play games for fun. I ain't necessarily good at any games, I'm just bad to mediocre at most of these games that I play, I just like playing them. As I've said a ton in this video, I play these for fun and to relax, and the games that I play just happen to have some of the most toxic and tryhard gamers on the internet. I don't get mad. Sometimes I get annoyed for sure, everyone gets annoyed, but I'm not one to get upset at a game or flame my teammates. Losing a few solo queue games in a row ain't gonna ruin my day. Like, don't get me wrong, it definitely feels good when I win, but when I lose, I just say, it is what it is, and I move on. I never understood the gamer rage or toxic behavior. I'm pretty good at detaching myself. Every game I play, I try my best to win, but still stay detached enough to where when I lose, it's not that big of a deal since it's a game and I could try to play better the next time. And I've always been like this when it comes to anything competitive. I've always been a pretty chill guy. Soccer in elementary school, swim team in middle school and high school, my Muay Thai matches, my jiu-jitsu tournaments. Like, as long as I prep and try my best, I'm happy. It doesn't really matter what the outcome is because you can't control that. Like, if I win, that's sicko mode. Lose, it is what it is. We'll get him next time. And remember when Ninja had his "it's just a game" is a weak mindset rant? I think that's only true if you're a pro. Who I am isn't tied to how good I am as a game. It'd be different if I were a pro or trying to go pro in Valorant or something. Because in that case, like, my livelihood and how people perceive me is directly correlated to my ability to play the game. But if you're trying to get to the top, you should have that mentality, but that's not me. I'm just a casual gamer who really enjoys competitive games, and sometimes being better than other people.